We took a 10-week sampling season, 10 to 12-week sampling season from the beginning of January through about mid-March or end of March, and we sampled 5 days a week through the first 3 years. And they're rotating through our transects. We have 22 transects across the entire study area, a lot of them based through drainages.
Okay.
Or on cliff bands where we think you're most likely to find cougar
and you
sign.
kind of get to know their travel routes.
Yeah. You know, you have a specific drainage or a specific transect, you know where the hot spot is on that transect where you know you're most likely to find a cougar sign. Right. In which case, you know, you're moving along the transect until you get to that hot spot, and then you're pretty much always checking out that hot spot to see if there's any fresh movement. If there's fresh movement there, then you can go and backtrack that individual wherever it's going. And, you know, our sampling method is very unstructured. And some of the methods that we saw yesterday morning, they took a different approach where they gridded up their study area, right? They've got all these grids across their study area, and the goal each day was to sample a grid. Right. Versus ours is to sample a transect or just sample this drainage that day. And so it's a little bit of a different approach, both getting to the same end goal.
Okay, that sounds interesting. But I mean, so this picture I have, so you see that female? She's rubbing that tree. I have a video of that.
Oh, cool.
I went back and I looked on that tree.
I feel like I finally have gotten really good at finding really small pieces of cougar sign. I mean, these are highly elusive animals. They occur at low densities, and we're taking a 650 square kilometer area and we're trying to reduce it down to a single hair. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it in that way. But that's it changes when you're on like a snow track, right? You're on a snow track, and the way that you see the environment, it totally changes when you're tracking a cougar through the wild. I mean, it's truly a special experience where you're reducing down this huge area down into this snow track, and you're following this animal as it's moving through the landscape at a really fine scale. I mean, every step and every end of the stick, you start to check for hairs, and you start to get good at knowing what kind of substrates are actually going to catch hair. Like the ends of these trees, the sides of them, they don't catch hair very well. The bark does not catch hair for some reason. Ends of sticks, if they're shaped the right way, they catch hair really well. Rose bushes, they catch hair
That's
awesome.
what you said on the thing. Yeah, that's cool.
But like juniper bushes, they don't catch hair.
Nothing.
Sage bushes, they don't catch. This model that we use, it works the best when you have a lot of recaptures. You want to recapture an animal many times across space and time. And the reason for that is the way the model works is it's going to take all of your captures and it's going to project a home range or space usage for that individual. And the more points you have across space, the better the model can predict space usage for individuals, which is, you know, if you're thinking about a home range of an individual, well, there's only so much space for a certain amount of home ranges within your study area. So the better you can predict space usage by individuals with more recaptures, the better you can predict how many home ranges there are within your study area.
So you also were able to look at home range size using this?
You can.
Yes. But that's not what you were focusing on.
That's not my primary focus, but it is an aspect of the analysis process. Yeah. And, you know, we do our best.
But you can't always tell, because it could be a female and where it's a juvenile or something, right?
Yeah. And snow conditions certainly change the size of tracks. How fresh the tracks are changes them. The longer the tracks are out there, they expand and contract when it freezes and thaws, and so that's going to obscure your track when you take a measurement.
So how do you account for that in your density?
So our density estimate is going to be for all individuals. It's not going to be an adult density. It's going to be all individuals, and that's just what we have to do when we're working with non-invasive sampling.